Yes. Well, not only that, but I want these bigger guys to see who we are. Go, who are these people? Because you have Wolfman's Got Nards in there, which is not like the biggest channel in the world, but it's much bigger than
Definitely bigger
us.
than us,
And then the Slaughterland movie podcast, and it's like
of course.
just a couple people. Like it's like 4 or 5 people at the cosplay Chris. And Miko Hughes commented in there as well. So Miko Hughes might be like, oh, who are these guys? Like we literally have like this is like such an opportunity. I
So how
was
many people
literally,
got access to see this early?
it looks like maybe 7 people.
Do people like us?
I don't know. Hey everyone, and welcome to Why Are You Still Here? The show we're talking about Freddy. Eh?
He's back in more
Eh?
ways than one, and not just in a
Yes.
Blumhouse requel chatter.
Nope. Yeah. So we're talking about Dylan's New Nightmare. We got early access thanks to Cecil Laird. Thank you, sir. Very much so appreciate that. And we're gonna talk about it. So, I went through the effort of putting this behind me, so I may as well do it. I wanted to take up the whole thing. I don't usually take up the whole thing.
But he just felt that way.
Now it's taken up. Yes.
Anyway, everybody, so we're some of the first few people to see this new fan film that's been talked about with Dave McRae
Shockingly.
as Freddy in Dylan's New Nightmare. We did a trailer thoughts and reaction video a few months back. So now it's all coming to fruition. So our stipulation with this is we are not allowed to talk about spoilers and what happens in this until it comes out to everybody. So tune in for that when it happens. This isn't going to be spoiler, non-spoiler, same video. This is just entirely spoiler free, which makes it not as difficult, but some things need explanation.
Luckily, I was able to make notes with this already in mind as I was writing the movie. I bet you guys didn't know I wrote this movie as I was watching the movie, so I was able to sort of structure the notes in a non-spoiler kind of way.
I figured we were doing 1 and 1. I didn't know.
No, ma'am. Luckily, we'll have our spoiler review up once the movie comes out, and have a few more days to sit on it, nurture on it.
It has sense to happen.
Whatever.
Your
maybe watch it again.
Change after watching it a few times. The first time you see it, you have expectations, emotional response. It's like some of your judgments can get clouded in there. Because even with some of my shorts, like I'll end up rating a movie lower than I think it really is, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So
Lucas tends to rate things higher than they ever should be. But anyway, so speaking of emotional response, okay, I got an emotional response right from the beginning of this movie, right? And it was the fact that I literally got chills.
Yes,
so I was not expecting it, and it was very cool. And we can't really say what's going on. Like, I don't know exactly how far our restraints go, but we may as well just play it as safe as possible. It's basically the way that the trailer starts as well. So it's that whole kind of thing. And it's just the appearance of Freddy and what's leading up to that. I mean, I had like the chills starting in my head and going down my spine, and I was like into it. My nipples were probably rock hard. That's all I'm saying. And so they hooked me. And there's some really, really cool. I mean, first off, the special effects makeup is great. The practical effects done by Nora Hewitt, who was a winner of the show Face Off, were fantastic, as well as the visual effects were really good as well. And there's a moment where the transition from a dream back into the real world is so cool. It's
Yes.
something you'd see in a professional movie, and really this is a professional project for all intents and purposes. It is. And I let's take a step back here for a second. First off, I thank Cecil Laird, but may as well throw out the credit that Cecil Laird is the writer director of this movie. It stars Miko Hughes, Dave McRae, as well as I guess that's it. That's it, right?
I think.
I mean, there's other people that are in it,
but not
the
anybody
starring,
that would have a billing lead, I guess, and like a theatrical production. But
yeah, Miko Hughes and Dave McRae, yeah, and so on and so forth. So whatever. Anything you want to throw in there?
Not from that point on.
Okay. And it becomes, after that, like, it starts with a bang, and then it goes into a real slow burn, which I was not expecting. And I mean that in a good way. I was not expecting that in something that was like 36 minutes long, roughly.
I think it was 34 and well, I mean the total video length is 34 minutes and some odd seconds, and the credit sequence is a little bit longer. I think the movie stops at around 28-ish minutes, because when the movie did stop, I was like, what the fuck, are you kidding me? I need to see more. And then I flip like my mouse because I'm watching it like full screen on my computer. And then I see that there's like, like a chunk of, like less, I mean, it's less than a third, but there's like a nice little chunk left. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, there's gonna be a little bit more. And then went to the credits, and like, I was really angry, but I was angry in a good way because I really wanted to continue going on, because this was a lot of fun to watch.
Agreed. And if, I don't want to say if, but it is an if still, if it does get a sequel like they want to, I was talking to Lucas about this before we started recording, but I believe that Cecil has the plans to just do a feature-length film after this, to finish off the story.
Which I would like.
Yes, agreed. As long as that can happen, the ending of this is great and sets it up very well. If that never happens, this is a huge disappointment.
Yep.
But
the old cinematic blue balls.
Yes, but I don't think that that's something that we have to worry about, luckily. But yeah, so it goes into a real slow burn. Might I say as well, the cinematography.
Oh yeah.
The way that they're able to tell a story with lights, with camera movement, with,
oh my god, I want to get into spoiler territory right now, specifically regarding the opening scene, which is in the trailer, the audition, because they utilize lights and certain things that would be in an audition room to transition. Or you don't even know if you're in a dream world at this point. That's one thing. It's not a spoiler, but that the movie does extremely, extremely well, is that you have no idea whether you're in the dream world or not. It is done very clever. The writing is pretty damn good. It's
very good. It is very good. Because I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna put it all out there, and I will admit I do have a couple negatives when we get towards the end of this, but I never know what you're gonna get. I don't know why I said that both starting with I and then you, like, whatever, but
it's fine.
But you never know what you're gonna get when you watch a fan film. Okay, some of them are really fantastic, like Never Hike Alone, which is like feels like a professional Friday the 13th movie.
Okay.
But then you have others that are very much so very low quality, shot in your parents' backyard.
And it says right on the bottom, like, remember the old Apple ads shot on iPhone, but it's like a 5-year-old iPhone, so it looks terrible. And they're using the iPhone like microphone.
Those ads usually like when they have them in the commercials and stuff, they look really great, but they're not taking, like, people aren't taking into account the lenses that they're
Oh,
using and all of that
100%.
kind of
That's why,
stuff.
like, they have like parodies of like shot on iPhone. It looks like garbage. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Something like that,
It's very, very funny. Also, professional cinematography plays a lot into this.
Huge factor. Yeah.
But yes, so it looks gorgeous. I feel like every dollar from the Indiegogo campaign made it on screen. Not that it wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Like you really just feel it. Like everything about it looks professional. It looks, smells, and feels like a professional film. And taste too. And salty. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, the way that they're able to tell a story though through those things, it's really great. And like Lucas said, the lights and like certain things, again, no spoilers, but certain lights turning on, turning off, just the way they play with that is really, really great.
It's so creative. It's they really worked with what they had, and they made something awesome out of it.
Yeah.
And like I was telling Brandon, like my biggest love for this is the potential, even with this little crew that they have, if they had access to like a big budget, because I mean, obviously Miko Hughes is still an actor, whatever, but like him alongside Dave McRae in this is really, really good. Like there's so much potential with this.
There is.
I really like it because anytime there's so many callbacks. And anytime he's on screen, it's not even like it's a Robert Englund impression. It's more or less channeling the energy of Freddy Krueger overall, just the character, not trying to be Robert, not trying to do the laugh, not trying to be over dramatic with it, as some people would probably do in fan films and stuff. So I really felt Freddy out of that. Like if you put that next to the remake Freddy, why am I blanking on his name? Jackie Earl Haley. There's absolutely no contest that you're gonna think that is Freddy.
See, I disagree,
in my opinion,
but it's not really fair to compare it because it is
a remake, not a sequel. Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, that as well, but Jackie Earl Haley really did his own thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what he did at all. In fact, people that dislike that movie still say Jackie Earl Haley is the best part of it. He was way too good for that movie, is what people say. And there is Robert Englund attributes that Dave McRae is presenting. The laugh, the way that he speaks, the way he stands, the way he moves. But he also does make it his own enough where you don't miss Robert Englund.
And that's what's important too, because that's a big departure. Obviously, it's like getting a new voice for Chucky, which that I actually don't even think is as big of a. I mean, it is, but
no, it was fine. People blew it out of proportion, but we've already gotten that. And it was fine. Yeah, so it's very cool. And the moment where Dylan first sets eyes on Freddy Krueger again, like they have that reunion of sorts. And it was very cool. It was very cool. I was like, you could tell that Miko Hughes was acting his ass off in that moment, and that the way he was at such like a heightened level, I could see where he could like bring himself to tears if he wanted to. It was just like it was very, very cool. But we'll get back to Dave McRae momentarily. I must say something. When we did our trailer reaction, I almost a trailer review, but reaction, I did say that some of the acting stuck out to me, that it was a little bit, not all of it, but a little bit of it was like a little bit
questionable,
iffy. And I will say that for the most part, I was wrong about that. Seeing it in the context of the movie, it's a different experience. It's because it's all the same stuff, from the trailer. Like the first 10 minutes of this movie is a lot of what you see in the trailer. And so you still see a lot of that same kind of those exact same scenes, that same acting, and it's just like recontextualized, it changes everything, in my opinion. There's a song that plays, and
I loved it.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure if you were gonna get it. So
no, I got
this. It's a thing where big Nightmare fans, big Elm Street fans, whatever you want to call it, Nightmare, whatever. They're gonna hear that and they're gonna go, yeah, hey, yeah, good job. Like it is. I feel weird saying what movie it comes from because again, don't want to get myself in trouble. But if you're a big fan of somewhere between the first movie and the fourth movie, it's going to be a lot of fun for you. Because I heard it and it starts off and it's a different version of the song. Like they must have, like, it's a different recording, whatever. And I was like, oh, this is cool. What? You sneaky bastards. So that was cool. Yeah, so let's see here. We jumped around a little bit, but I think we covered a lot of this. Okay, whatever. In my notes, we're back to Dave McRae. Once again, did a great job, and I would love to see more with him.
I want to see a feature film with him, a full hour, 54 minutes horror movie.
Yes. He is, I don't know if you know, but Dave McRae is a voice actor professionally. Yeah. So he was originally an on-screen actor, and then he transitioned into voice acting because he broke out his teeth playing hockey, and he had to get them fixed and whatnot. And then he ended up just finding a career in voice acting, but he still got the chops, very much so. And there is an attribute to Freddy's look that happens about a third into this, maybe halfway into this, that is one of those things that fans have been clamoring for. So Dave McRae, he makes for like a very intimidating, also, fun version of Freddy Krueger. There is my favorite line from this is something that unfortunately I can't say. You're going to have to wait for the spoiler review, but I had a very specific favorite line that stuck out to me. And it comes from Freddy, and it's just, it's cool. It's to the therapist. That's as much as I can say. And I really liked that. So, there's not a lot of Freddy in this though. That might be a spoiler. I know that when Halloween Ends came out, Lucas would not hear me say the words, there wasn't a lot of Michael in this movie. And I was like, you listen to me now. And he wouldn't listen. So maybe some people would consider that a spoiler. I personally don't think so. There's not a lot of Freddy, but he's utilized very well. You're not like super aware of the fact that there's not a lot of them, mostly because there's parts of him still sprinkled throughout the entire thing. Here and there, you might hear his voice a little bit. You might hear, the down, 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 down. You might hear 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. All that kind of stuff.
You get your motifs.
Little things. Yes, the motifs of Freddy Krueger. Those are still sprinkled out all over the place. And I'm about to go on to just, the cliffhanger, I guess. Anything else that you wanted to throw in?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the positives and stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally. So I was telling Brandon this beforehand. I have like really good THX like certified speakers for my computer, so my audio is like off the charts. That makes the effects in this small room, because I have a big subwoofer, like really loud. So I try to just turn on captions, and it was auto generated. They weren't good at all. So I turned them off, put my AirPods in, and I'm hearing small, subtle sounds, really great music cues, things that you're not going to pick up on unless, like, because I have like the noise cancellation turned on, like the AirPods Pro. And I just want to say that the sound design and sound mixing for this is so spot on. It just creates such a dreamlike atmosphere. It's incredible. It's so hard to believe that this is a fan film in that respect of the few, I love that.
Of course.
So when
Yeah,
you guys do watch this online, I recommend headphones in for sure for
yeah.
optimal experience.
The next time I watch it, I'm gonna have to watch it like that.
You'll thank me.
Very good. I'm trying to look at the crew here to see who was responsible for the sound design, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay. His name is Eamon Irish.
Cool name. Great
Yes.
job, Amen Irish.
Yes, and he's the sound mixer. And I noticed something here looking at this. I'm gonna have to let Cecil know. I don't, it might be too late though. There is like a crazy credits thing going on. You know how IMDb has crazy credits, right? They misspell production before sound mixer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's a typo. But yeah, so Eamon Irish, great job. I'll be able to truly be able to savor your work next time I watch it.
Which will probably be later tonight.
Kind of reminds me of the song Duality by Slipknot, where you can't really hear the bass line until you're wearing headphones. But then once you do, you're like,
glorious.
what would I do without it? You know what I'm saying? A lot of bass lines are like that with songs, though.
It is very true. I learned that this year.
I remember when I first heard like the Beatles came to iTunes, and that's the first time I heard like really like, you know,
crisp, clean
HD
audio,
crisp, clean audio, exactly. And so much of the bass lines in it, I was like, what is this? You know, like it was like hearing the songs again for the first time, because it always, you know, in older recordings, it's almost,
it gets
you barely hear it. It does. So yeah, it's all great. And also the glove as well, which I've known about this glove for quite a while. This movie was first announced prior to the big C happening, that obviously changed our lives massively. It was supposed to happen, like production was supposed to happen before that.
That's crazy.
And that threw it off for multiple years and whatnot. So I remember first seeing the glove and everything like 4 years ago, maybe more. But they definitely did a good job, you know, implementing, like if you see that like in detail, the high quality photos of it, not just on screen, they implemented like the part 4 glove along with the New Nightmare glove, I believe, like they with a little touch of like the remake glove thrown in for good measure. It's pretty cool. Same thing with his makeup. They went for like a mix of part 2 and part 3, a little bit of New Nightmare for good measure.
Really just mostly with the eyes, I would say.
Like the sunken in eyes.
Yeah.
The fact that, yeah, his eyes are only sunken in the second movie. Yes. And I thought it was really great. They did a good job making it look like it was wet all the time, which is like something that's very good about the second movie.
I love the makeup in the second movie so much.
Oh my god,
it's immaculate,
flawless. Kevin Yeager was the man, the myth, the legend behind that. Yes. And it's just like, it's so unbelievable. He was so young. He was like 18 years old.
And that's what can really make or break the Freddy look, because if not, it just looks like a cartoony fake like zombie spirit Halloween burn victim bullshit. Like it just doesn't look good vast majority of the time. So yeah. I love that wet look of Freddy for sure. I'm glad you mentioned the word wet, moist.
I happened to notice that, yeah, when one of the times where he leaned in and there was like a close up on the back of his head, and I saw the glistening.
That shot specifically, yeah. And you can see like he's got the nice pointed ears in this one.
Yeah, it's very much of the sort of like that witchy quality brought back in from the second movie, which is
his nose was pretty nice and chunky.
Yeah, like a crook to it as well. Yeah, it's good. I definitely enjoyed that, but they slapped the Vaseline on real nicely. I feel so bad saying this because, again, Cecil Laird helped us out so much with this, but but I do have 3 negatives. I apologize. I just like to be honest about this kind of stuff. I will say though, before I get into, I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I mean, sir, I was about to say it was right at my expectations, but it did surpass it in some ways as well.
See, that's a good contrast then, because regardless of how good Freddy's makeup on Dave McRae had looked, I'm always so iffy with 35-minute fan films. So my expectations were, I love the look. I like, holy shit, because we did have a holy shit moment at work when we saw that.
Oh my God.
And
Yes. That was so cool when it was first shown on YouTube.
And then like I said, other than that, it's just my expectations weren't high. So that's why I think I might have enjoyed it a little bit more than you did. And to be fair, really, my only criticism thus far is some of the acting could be a little wonky in a few spots, but I mean, it's not like this is a like Hollywood theatrical production, so you can let that fall through the cracks. And then my second complaint is I want more. There you go.
Yes, very good. Yeah, and that kind of leads into the fact that it ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like that could be fine, but that could also be a really bad thing. You know, people complained about it when it came to like Across the Spider-Verse this year, which was a part 1 of 2. You know, people didn't know that. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which part 1, they let you know about that one.
It says it right in the title.
It does. And then you know, Fast X, you know, the 10th Fast and the Furious movie was a part 1 of 2. You know, it was like a thing, and people get angry about that kind of thing. I'm not saying I'm angry, but you know, there is one thing, and it's probably something that can be, you know, I'm sure it's something that can be fixed, and maybe it's just me saying this. I do have one slight issue with Freddy's makeup, and that is the sides of his mouth. And I don't know if it's just the way like the different pieces come together or not, but it's like it gives him almost like a fish kind of look. Like that's the only way I can really explain it. Like
I'll have to go back and look out for fish mouth. You got duck lips and you got fish mouth.
Exactly, fish mouth.
Fish mouth. It's the
so
sister
I just
band
noticed
Smash
that.
Mouth.
Yes, I just noticed that a little bit. Like I noticed also in some of the photos as well, but I was like in motion, it'll probably be a little bit different, and I still was noticing it. But again, who am I? I'm nobody.
Just a nobody. Just like me.
There's something that happens. This isn't really a negative. It's more so just a question that you can't answer, but that's fine.
Indeed.
Something happens about 2/3 through it with the therapist. I think that's about as much as I can say. And it happens by a window. And I was so confused what happened that moment. Like she has like a reaction to something. She like looks down. There's like a sound effect. I have no idea what happened. I rewatched it 3 times and I still don't know what happened. That's all I can say. Don't know. And then also around that same general vicinity of that scene, there's something that happens that is a little bit cheesy, feels very 80s, and that might be on purpose. In fact, it probably is on purpose.
Probably.
Like, it just feels like straight up like cheesy 80s fun. I think it conflicted with the tone a little bit because the tone of the movie is very serious, you know, very dark. Not a lot of, you know, comedic tones, a little bit, but not a lot. And so that happened, and I was just like, huh, okay. I will make a mental note of that. And I guess that's it. I did make a file note on here that, you know, make sure that you stay for the mid credits as well as the post credits, because there is a mid credit scene. There's not a post credit scene, but there is like post credits like
elements
fun
that add to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that I really liked seeing. I'll say that I thought it was super cool. And yeah.
Yeah, that song during the credits was badass too.
What was that song? It reminded me of like it's definitely a Lucas song. We'll say that. It's like what is that band like with the Juggalos?
ICP.
Yeah, it reminded me of like an ICP song.
Loved it. It wasn't no.
I know that you would.
I think that was some like, I don't know. It sounds like some like custom song. I don't know how what you would say, something made for it. Because I don't
It was about
recognize
like
it, but
dreams and nightmares and stuff.
yeah, it was great. It was so in line. I love when horror movies do the rock stuff. It's always awesome. It just
Was
fits.
that rock? It felt
Well,
very rappy.
maybe they were juggalos then, because there's a nice mixture.
Sure. It felt very like early mid 2000s, where horror movies would always cut to a song like that in the credits, but like Scream 3 cutting to like Creed or whatever it does. It's so bad. But all in all, I thought it was really fantastic. I was watching it very much so on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I was getting into it, man.
I'm excited to see what does come next. The possibilities are quite endless, and I don't think that there's going to be any issue with crowdfunding. I don't think there was any issue to begin with, but now that there's actually proof of what they can accomplish, I think that it's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to more Dave McRae. You could tell he was having a lot of fun, and you can tell like Miko Hughes was having a lot of fun too. And it's just like, I don't know, just great. It's just looks. If it were a blanket, I would wrap it around myself. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Very good.
What score would you give it? 8 out of 10.
You know what, Brandon? We're going with a solid 8 out of 10. No, maybe we're gonna go with an 8.5. This is a fan film, right?
Yes.
So I guess I could even add a few more. We're going with the classic and coveted 8.75. That's my final score, and I'm sticking to it. Brandon, this is an 8.75. This has potential to be an awesome start to a series. Like if this was if this was the Blumhouse requel, right? And it's a full feature length movie.
Yes.
It would be just like everything else that comes out that's new, where the first one's going to be great and then the rest suck.
Maybe. As long as the third one isn't some, teenage kid coming in and then becoming the new Freddy, and then like slapping the real Freddy around and being like, "You're just a man with a burned face," that kind of thing.
Instead of invading your
I don't want to give them any ideas.
Instead of invading your nightmares, you just invade your regular dreams. So it's like they just completely flip. It's like a parody movie.
Yes. Because he's just too he's too old and like weak to do anything but just regular dreams, so he just like randomly shows up in a Hawaiian shirt or something. As a part 1, I would give it an 8.5. That could change eventually when the next part comes out somewhere down the line, and combining them together, it could be an easy 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Maybe more, I don't know. But it could be. It just had
the whole vibes of like make Freddy scary again. You know what I mean? Because it can really go off the rails with nightmare humor. And I personally do prefer my Freddy on the more serious side.
Yes, no, agreed. Like that, like part 1 Freddy and part 2 Freddy is a completely different animal than
100%
any other movie. And then obviously it does get goofier and goofier. In conclusion, I just realized that I said the movie was a slow burn. I keep calling it a movie. Is that wrong? The short film.
I mean, it moves. It talks. It's a talkie. It's a movie. Do whatever you want.
It's a moving picture. See? So again, I said it was a slow burn, and then I kind of just movied on with my life. But what I really wanted to say after that was that I was surprised that there was so much time to breathe in a short film.
Yeah, it
traditionally
was
short
paced very
films
well.
are like action, you know, that there's not a lot of like breathing and
It had a mix of
talking
a
and,
little slow
you know,
drama talking,
it
some
did.
moments
Yes.
intertwined with family and stuff. We can't go into detail about that, but
No,
it
but
has enough time to have more elements to it than Freddy's back. Look at him, let's hear him laugh, let's hear 1 2 Freddy's coming for you, and let's see a kill. And let's see a
yes.
dream sequence. So you're correct. I would say 100%.
Yes, it was, like you said, it was paced very well, like 34 minutes or whatever fly by like in a blink of an eye. And I like it. I said that was in conclusion. This is the real conclusion. I just realized that I'm thrown off of my game here. We don't usually get to do things this early. But if anybody was wondering, like, what is this short film about? Really, it's, if you have seen Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Dylan Porter from that movie, Heather Langenkamp's son, is now an adult. He is a struggling actor who has some mental issues. He deals with a therapist to help him through these issues. And it seems like we would need to know more, possibly from more, you know, more of the story, like from a feature film. It seems like he has mostly gotten over the whole phobia of Freddy, and now it's starting to come back, and he's not really sure why. Would you say that that's an inappropriate way to explain it?
I would say
Like,
it's a very appropriate way.
it seems like he has PTSD, but it's not centered around Freddy. Like, he's kind of let that go until now. And it's like, what's changed?
We don't know.
We don't know. Is it because Freddy's back? Of
Somebody's
course
been
not.
somebody on Elm Street's been thinking about the urban legend. It's like everybody forgot about it, and then like with the rise of like TikTok and the internet, like this town that's been secluded, just somehow the kids get iPhones. I could have said that better. In my head, it was like this funny like skit. As I said it, I'm like, am I even making sense? When we do these later episodes,
In the
it's like we just
town and
ramble on and it gets
iPhones.
delusional. Yeah, the kids and their iPhones.
You
Which
know, those
that's another thing, and
those
I'm not going to
fancy
say
tablets, those phone tablets, those pocket tablets.
pocket tablet. Hey, they're on the pocket tablet wearing their short pants.
That's correct. Yes, Lucas
but
is a very old man.
yes, but I did want to say, and it's not like a spoiler, I guess, but they do utilize like some new aspects of technology that have not been a thing since the last Freddy movie, which was in 2010. So it's a very modern feeling Freddy. Love it. I love it. Just want more
Big
of it.
spider
That
on the
cinematic
floor.
blue balls killed me.
Agreed. But it's fun, and they don't spend any time telling you how Freddy's back either. So that might be something they're saving for, a later installment. I don't know. Maybe they feel it's the best, route to just not focus on that at all, because sometimes these movies get bogged down in over explanation. Over explanation. In my head, I was like, do I say over explaining or do I say over explanation? So I just put it together. So they get bogged down in that sometimes, and maybe they thought, like, let's just not even touch it. And that's a way to go. I mean, it's not wrong or right. I mean, it
does help you get right into the action. So
it does. Again, nothing is bogging this movie down. It just gets right into it. So I'm guessing it is probably the right way to go with it then, right?
Indeed.
We've seen Freddy brought back many, many times.
We've seen every serial killer get brought back in many different incarnations and many different ways throughout the many different years.
We can just sort of use
we just kind of accept it and move
creative minds to figure it out.
Fill in the blanks.
Indeed.
So everybody, let us know. Oh, wait, you can't let us know down below what you think yet. I'm really sorry, but that sounded so smug. I didn't mean that to sound as bad.
Depending on when this comes out exactly, you can check it out tomorrow, later on today. I don't know. It's hard to know how quickly this is going to be out, but
hopefully within a day and a half.
A day and a half. A day and a half would put us past the release of this.
Oh, that's
it
awful.
Releases at 9 PDT on Thursday. 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Pacific
daylight time.
So that would mean it releases 6 a.m. here.
No. That's the opposite.
Is it?
I think so. We're not earlier than them. They're earlier than us. So
I thought the Pacific time zone was like California.
It is.
Yeah, they're 3 hours behind us. They're 3 hours behind us.
They're not ahead of us, is what I'm saying. So 9 o'clock there is not 6 o'clock here. 9 o'clock there is 12 o'clock.
Oops, I fucked up. It was at this moment he knew he fucked up.
So yeah, so noon Eastern Standard Time. So
we shall see what happens.
So not a day and a half. If it is a day and a half, then you can go check it out right now and then come back and let us know what you thought. But
exactly.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it. If you're new to the show, this is not really how it goes normally. I mean, it is to some extent, but again, we never get things this early. So
yeah. So
it's uncharted territory.
It was like a spur
us.
of the moment thing too. So it was like a little unorganized and unplanned. Yeah. So that's why this isn't as good as we usually do it.
A tad bit more professional than this, if you can believe it. Go watch another one of our videos. I promise. As long as it doesn't say special features on it, I promised we are more
There's
professional.
some level of
but this really
there.
was like, finding out that we can do this, to recording it over the time span of like 2.5 hours, and that was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even home. I was like, whatever. It was insane. So this is not exactly normal, but we'll be much more professional in the spoiler version of this. But
for sure.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
As always.
And we will see you
in the next one.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Or. Wow.